One day, a cultivation world that was called a game suddenly appeared. Players entered this cultivation world to battle against monsters and raise their abilities. At the same time, they could take the items and the cultivation they earned into the real world. Until one day, a disaster came upon them as countless monsters arrived in the real world from the cultivation world. Ever since the monsters invaded the real world, the war between human and monsters became endless. A lot of cities fell in succession. The few remaining survivors were still bitterly defending the very last city. The city is about to collapse, and if this continues, the human race is doomed. Then suddenly something showed up in the city. That is the final demon lord. There's already a lot of monsters in this city, and now a demon lord appears as well. The guy with the yellow mark in his forehead, he is the protagonist. His name is Ku Ching San. He said that there is only one more move left, which is return together, which basically means to finish together, and sacrificing himself to kill so that he can kill the demon god. This woman said to Ku Ching San that he shouldn't do it because he is the last hope of the human race, and if he uses return together he'll also die. The human race don't have any other options other than to us it. Only this sword that can cut apart this karma. While the protagonist is going up to attack the demon lord, the remaining survivors are giving their remaining spirit power to the protagonist to support him to kill the demon lord. He hopes that the wars and suffering from this point on completely end. He launches the attack towards the demon lord and it made a huge explosion. After that battle, the last immortal of the human race fell. The relentless war between humans and demons ended in the defeat of the human race. And Ku Ching San earned himself a chance of resurrection for killing the final demon lord. There's two men checking if there's any good stuff on the piles of dead bodies. The guy who's holding the lantern asked the leader why are they coming to the pit so late at night, because he's afraid to meet monsters. The leader said that dead people sometimes have lots of good things in them, and that he need to stab corpses again to make sure that they are dead. Then, there's a gold shining sword in the pit. That this sword does not look common, and the leader have another stab before taking it. But apparently, the holder of the sword is not dead and blocked the leader's attack. He attacks the leader and killed him. He asked to the lantern guy, "Who are you, and where is this place?" He remembers that he clearly perished together with the demon lord in the battle. Suddenly, a monster appears. Apparently the leader is not a human. He's monster and is not dead. The monster attacks the protagonist and pinned him down on the ground. He can't escape the monster, but he sees a cracked bone with sharp edge. He take it and stab it on the monster's body. Ku Ching San gets up and picked the golden sword from earlier and stabbed the monster in the head and finally killed the monster in an instant. Ku Ching San is confused with the situation he is in, because this battlefield looks different from Earth, and people that rose from the dead is weird enough to him. He thinks that this place is probably not the present world, but it's the cultivation world. He tries to call system several times, but the system does not appear. It's strange that there is no response from the system. The man terrifiedly asked if is he a human or a ghost. Ku Ching San responded that if he killed thousands of monsters, then he wouldn't ask this kind of dumb question. The man is asking who the protagonist is, and he wants to see the badge on him. Ku Ching San took the badge from his waist and notices this badge is indeed from the cultivation world, and it's a previous design. He shows it to the man, and the man looks relieved that Ku Ching San is from the Shaoqi camp. Knowing he's a guy from the camp, the man invites the protagonist back to the camp quickly because it's too dangerous being out here late at night. He looks at the armor used. He noticed that they're all leather armor that was in style 10 years ago. He asked to the man what year is this, and the man replied that it's the 681st year of Yongping. He is shocked because this is the cultivation world from 10 years ago. Then suddenly system appears and notify him identity reset successful, and is currently a vanguard army soldier of the Shaoqi camp of the human race. The system is called the War God system, and will now restart the adventure. He looks confused because it's a different system from what he had before. Suddenly a monster appears and going at them. Ku Ching San is not afraid because it's just a normal monster. But when he attacks the monster, he realized that his sword skill cannot be used. The monster came right back at him, and Ku Ching San knows there's a chance to kill him with only experience. He then stabbed the monster on its throat and cut them into two. Then he sees a horde of monsters lurking from the dark that's attracted to the smell of the blood from the corpses. He realizes that now killing a normal monster is hard enough, and he can't deal a whole herd of monsters. He then ran and asked if there's any hiding places nearby, and the man said that there are barracks with concealment magic formation not far up ahead. They eventually arrive at the barracks and pass the concealment magic. The man said this camp has a magic concealment formation and monsters can't discover it. Ku Ching-sen said that he felt a tremor in the formation and afraid that the formation can't hold on for long. The man seemed concerned and asked Ku Ching-sen what to do, and he said that with spirit stones, it can hold for a longer period of time. The man ran to check if they got any extra spirit stones in the camp. Ku Ching-sen is still confused because he clearly remembers that he perished with the demon lord and that he realizes that it was his previous life. People in the present world thinks that the cultivation world is just a game. Until the monsters invaded the present world and people realize that it's not a game, but it's already too late by then, and the outcome was the monsters destroying the human race. And the fact that now Ku Ching-sen is reborn 10 years before the disaster is a hint that he somehow still have a chance to stop the annihilation of the human race. Ku Ching-sen calls the war god system to check if he still have any sword skills, but he don't have any. Name: Ku Ching-sen. Soul power 45. Current identification: soldier of Shaoqi camp. Current cultivation level: first stage of Qi condensation. Abilities: none. Systems tells him that he can obtain soul power through killing living organisms. The higher the cultivation, the higher the maximum amount of soul power needed to be obtained. And so far, Host has killed 2 monsters and obtained 4 points of soul power. Ku Ching-sen thought that it is indeed completely different from the old system he's had from the previous life. And now what's important is find a way to survive. He feels weak because he is still in the first stage of Qi condensation, which is far from his cultivation level from his previous life, and that's why he only can feel and use spirit power at the lowest degree. He activates the first function of the war god system, which can directly learn the moves and the abilities of the previous holders of the weapon just by physically touching the weapon, but learning the moves costs soul power. He tried to pick up a weapon, and 2 skills which he can learn appear in the system, but he thinks that it's suicide to use short-range skills on a pack of monsters and decided to pick a bow and relying on ranged attacks to kill low-level monsters. He got 4 skills that he can learn. Ku Ching-sen chooses skill stabilize and second consecutive shooting as his first 2 skills because he only have 4 soul power points. Suddenly a blue light appears surrounding his body, and after that he took his bow and arrow to try to shoot a target. He is shocked that the bow skills he learned were actually instantly comprehended. The accuracy is okay, but it lacks power. So he tried to add spirit power to it to check if it would become more powerful, and it did, after he's figuring it out. Suddenly the ground shakes, and a loud sound from outside of the barracks. He went towards the sound to see it, and apparently it's a faceless giant. The information he knows is that the first time this type of monster appear was during the year people from the present world first enters the cultivation world. He is stunned by the appearance of the monster. He's trying to figure out why, and he thinks that probably something different occurred from the previous timeline. The man who never saw the monster asks, "What is that?" and Ku Ching-sen answers that it's a monster of the nascent soul stage, the faceless giant. When they thought they were gonna die, the monster just walked past them. But because of the tremor, the magic concealment formation is damaged, and the monsters now can see them. Ku Ching-sen tells the man to go charge up the formation with the spirit stones while he will kill the monsters. He uses skill stabilize to kill a monster. As he predicted, ranged attacks are pretty effective to deal with these monsters. The pack of monsters are coming towards Ku Ching-sen, but he uses skill consecutive shooting to kill them at once. System notifies him that the experience bar is filled, and its 5-5 so host strength is raised to second stage of Qi condensation. The skill stabilize has evolved into secure. He's happy because it's a growth type skill which is suitable for this type of situation. But he's still worried with the faceless giant. The man came back and tells Ku Ching-sen that he has finished arranging the spirit stones and the formation should last a while now. But he knows that it's not that simple. Because when a faceless giant appears, there's a high chance that there will be high-tier monsters following it, and concealment formation can't block high-tier monsters. The next day, a lot of monsters came to the camp. Those monsters are the Steel Blood Demon and Evil Ghost Fire Snake, but they suddenly left and looked like they were in a hurry to go somewhere. They're traveling in the same direction of the faceless giant. Ku Chingsen jumped and wanted to figure out where the monsters are going, but suddenly, something fell from the sky. It's a bird, but the bird has intelligence and noticed that it's surrounded by humans. It immediately went off trying to escape. But Ku Chingsen noticed that it's an intelligent monster, and it probably would be bad if he let that monster run away. He used the skill Secure and managed to hit and kill the bird. He obtained 2 soul power. He saw something red like a jewel. It's a command stone. It tells that their target moves toward the south. The command is to make Faceless Giant and Blood-Drinking Army to go south and attack with full force. The demonic army is trying to get rid of the leader in humans' race. He asked the man what day is today, and the man answered it's June the 7th. He remembered in his previous life that the Sacred Supreme Elder, Grandmaster of Formations, his name is Kong Suincher, and the Holy Celestial Maiden, her name is Ning Yuechan, was killed in this scenario and date. System notifies him that player Ku Chingsen stayed up to 24 hours in the cultivation world, and now returning to the present world. All equipment has been restored in system's inventory, and can be taken out when needed. Ku Chingsen is teleporting to the present world. He's teleported back to the present world but 10 years ago, and returned to the world before the destruction. He realizes it's his high school prom. Suddenly a girl calls him from behind. It's his classmate. Her name is Su Shueher. She is the 9th prefecture noble, Su family's eldest granddaughter. She asked Ku Chingsen if he has something to tell her. And then this guy appears, and said yeah, he got something important to tell her. His name is Chong Yi, and he is Ku Chingsen's high school friend. The other students are starting to gather around and started gossiping if Ku Chingsen wants to confess to her. Ku Chingsen remembered in his previous life, Chong Yi stabbed him with a ring containing aphrodisiac poison when he was confessing, causing him to do perverted things to Shueher, the noble girl. Because he offended the Su family, there was no place for him to gain a foothold in the Federation. He has no choice, and went to Fuxi Empire. Only when the cultivation world appears, he had a chance to turn it around. With his knowledge from the previous life, he is now more cautious. Chong Yi is encouraging Ku Chingsen to say it. He speak up and say that when she have time, come over to his house to eat a meal, so she can taste his cooking. The other students and Chong Yi were disappointed. She asked if it's only to eat meal and nothing else, and he said yes. Chong Yi approached Ku Chingsen and asked, "Didn't you say you wanted to confess?" Ku Chingsen asked him to stop joking because he never said anything like that. It's different from Chong Yi's original plan. So he tried to stab Ku Chingsen with the ring on his hand. But Ku Chingsen caught and stooped his hand. He then slammed Chong Yi into the ground. Ku Chingsen asked, "What is this ring for?" And Chong Yi said it's just a normal ring. He uses bodyguards from Su family to help him. He called them bodyguards. The old man is Old Li, and the woman is Su Yi. She asked why did he call her, and he hands her the ring and asked her to check it. Old Li asked what is it, and she said that this ring contains a very violent aphrodisiac poison. Shueher is shocked. Ku Chingsen tells the bodyguard that he doesn't know the reason, but there's someone who want him, and Shueher to be humiliated. Chong Yi tried to run, but Old Li quickly got in front of Chong Yi, and he uses a skill that can make people speak the truth. Ku Chingsen asked if it's a sky select ability, and Shueher confirms it. Old Li has the ability to hypnotize people. By the way, sky selects are professionals who have unique abilities in the present world, but they cannot rely on cultivation to awaken an ability. The old man asked who wants to harm Shueher. Chong Yi said he doesn't know. The person used an anonymous online account, and Chong Yi takes money to do what the other person say. Someone is instructing Chong Yi, and Old Li confirms that he doesn't know anything. Chong Yi asked for forgiveness to Ku Chingsen because they are friends, but Ku Chingsen didn't care and kicked him hard. He asked Su Yi to help him investigate the person who's behind this. Shueher thanked Ku Chingsen for protecting her reputation. He said no need to thank me, because he's also doing it for himself. She feels like something is different from him before. He checks the system, and sees that the hourglass is restarted. It looks like he's gonna return to the cultivation world again. Knowing that he can go to both the present world and the cultivation world, he should take advantage to prepare and stop the apocalypse with this war god system. Moving to a conference hall in the Chungning Federation. Chong Yi is crying and begging to spare him, and he would never do this again. Then a flying shuttle came, it's Schwerer's ride. And after greetings, she left. Suddenly another flying shuttle arrived. It's one of the 9th Prefecture Noble as well. It belongs to Ni family's flying shuttle. A man with a scar on face appeared and said to Ku Ching-sen that his family's young master wants to speak with him. He's confused because him and family's young master don't have relations. He follows the man and he entered a room. There's a blonde guy with a girl wearing a bunny suit. The blonde guy's name is Ni Yoon. He is Chongqing's elite private high school student council president. The student council president started to read Ku Ching-sen's achievements. Beginning mecha tectonics full point, photon technology full points, battleship navigations full points, mecha dynamics full point. Ku Ching-sen is a top student. He said that it's impressive how an ordinary person can attain these kind of accomplishments. Even women like Schwerer can be attracted to Ku Ching-sen. Ni Yoon told him that every powerful family in the Federation wants to marry Su family's Su, Schwerer, and a person of Ku Ching-sen's background shouldn't be tempted by her. The student council warns Ku Ching-sen that if he's tempted, the end result would be terrible and might threaten his life. Ku Ching-sen realizes that his relationship with Schwerer will affect powerful people's interest, and these people are the ones who use poison. The student council asked what Ku Ching-sen's going to do. Ku Ching-sen replies that if Yoon, like Schwerer, he can pursue her. What I'm going to do, that's my own business, I won't concern you with it. Ku Ching-sen turned around and left. The student council looked mad. Adian asked the scarred-faced guy about the plans. They said that everything is arranged. Within an hour, Ku Ching-sen will die in an accident. Ku Ching-sen walks through the slums. He thinks that there's only 1 year left before the invasion, and that he wants to raise his power as quickly as possible with the system. Now not only the apocalypse, he also need to be careful with those wealthy powerful children. He enters a dark alley, and there's some people in there. A person bumped Ku Ching-sen, and suddenly he tried to kill Ku Ching-sen with a knife. But he is able to dodge and hit the thug. He uses his spirit power with the punch. He realized that his cultivation from the cultivation world can be used in the present world. The other thugs saw it, and knows that this kid isn't normal. They all attack together. Because they have guns, Ku Ching-sen gets serious too, and use the bow he acquired from the cultivation world. They all shoot at Ku Ching-sen, but Ku Ching-sen is fine, and he killed them with the skill second consecutive arrows. There's a person left alive. Ku Ching-sen asked him while threatening him who hired them. And the man confessed that it's the Niu family's Fierce Tiger who hired them. By the way, Fierce Tiger is the scarred-faced person from earlier. He is a martial master, and is really dangerous. Ku Ching-sen tries to remember the sword skills from his previous life, but he can't. System sealed his memories, and System tells him that Host has yet to break from the Void surveillance. He asked when can he restore them, and System tells him that Host needs to transmigrate to the cultivation 1 to 2 more times. Ku Ching-sen asked the man to give his phone because he wants to talk to the Fierce Tiger. The man gave it to him, and Fierce Tiger is on the line. He asked how did it go, but Ku Ching-sen is the one responded, and he say I'm still alive. The Fierce Tiger is mad, and he say that he'd kill Ku Ching-sen himself. Ku Ching-sen invited the Fierce Tiger to come and kill him in his house. He figures that he needs to get rid of these nobles before preventing the apocalypse. In a casino, there's a man and a red-haired girl. They are detectives and are betting with Ni Yoon. The Fierce Tiger reported that the mission failed, and Ku Ching-sen sent him a provoking message. The student council is mad, and the Fierce Tiger said that he would get rid of Ku Ching-sen himself. He is betting that Ku Ching-sen will die in the hands of Fierce Tiger. The red-haired women tell the man to bet with him. And if they lose, they will kill all the members of Ni family, give up on the mission and return home. The Fierce Tiger went into an apartment. He went to a place where Ku Ching-sen lived and broke in. Suddenly there's an attack from behind towards him. He catches the arrow on and managed to cancel the attack. And then another arrow appeared from behind, followed by more arrows attacking the Fierce Tiger. He is shocked because Ku Ching-sen has a good combat skill despite being poor. The student council and the detectives are also shocked because of how good Ku Ching-sen is with the bow. Ku Ching-sen launched another arrow and him. but the fierce tiger transformed into a big and muscular form. He managed to catch the arrows launched at him, and used it to attack Ku Ching San. He managed to avoid the attack, but the fierce tiger came directly at him, and landed a punch. Ku Ching San managed to survive, but he didn't expect it to be that powerful. The fierce tiger attacked again, but Ku Ching San managed to avoid the punch, and counters it with a kick. The fierce tiger got slammed into a wall. The fierce tiger got up and attacked again, using a concrete stone. Ku Ching San jumps to avoid the concrete, and uses both skill secure and consecutive shooting. The arrows got through and Ku Ching San killed the fierce tiger. The drone belongs to the student council, and is spectating the fight. Ku Ching San destroyed the drone with an arrow. Niu Yun is shocked and mad because he lost the gamble, and he left the casino room. The big man is the first guard of the eldest princess top hacker, Fonhuda, and the woman is the eldest of the saint, Alanka Empire, Queen of the Apocalypse, Anna Medici. Anna asked Fon what he thinks about Ku Ching San. He thinks Ku Ching San has a unique way of fighting and probably has an unknown ability. Anna asked him to search for Ku Ching San's data. Ku Ching San is also a mecha researcher. Anna seems interested with Ku Ching San. Go back to Ku Ching San. Now, Ku Ching San is at Chungning, Metal Battle Armor R&D Department. He need to be scanned by the system to be able to get in. He got in, and went to see the big mecha and thinks that in his previous life, mecha technology was a lot better. He wants to design stronger mecha armor to counter the apocalypse. He got into his room. He looked outside and notices that there are strands of gas from the underworld. The signs have already appeared, and there's not much time left. Ku Ching San is training his cultivation while waiting to be teleported back to the cultivation world. System notifies that player Ku Ching San has stayed in the present world for 24 hours. He has returned to the cultivation world. He realized that the time in the cultivation world stops when he's in the present world. Time in the cultivation world won't resume when Ku Ching San transmigrate back. He asked the man if there's any low-level monsters nearby. And the man said yeah, there are some near the forest. Ku Ching San tells the man to guard the camp while he left. He managed to kill a lot of low-level monsters. He gained 2 more soul power, and his cultivation rises to the 3rd stage of chi condensation. System tells him that from now on, the player can choose to use soul power to replace EXP to raise their own levels. Ku Ching San thought that the higher the cultivation, the more EXP needed to level up. But soul power has a possessive trait. Once soul power is used, EXP can no longer be used to raise levels. He thinks that now, soul power has become more important with this option. He asks System what actually is soul power. System tells him that soul power is the fundamental power of sentient beings, meaning the origin of the soul. He thinks that the origin represents a type of limit and power. Trying to exceed the limit will definitely have its specialties. Ku Ching San decided that he will use soul power to level up. He asked the system what level can he get with his current soul power points. The system tells him he can get to 5th stage chi of condensation with 3 soul powers. Ku Ching San spent 3 points of soul power, and now is currently 5th stage of chi condensation. This proved using the soul power to advance is the better choice. Suddenly a monster appears. It's a Phyton. It's considered to be pretty powerful among low-tier monsters. But he knows with his current level, he can win and get a lot of soul power from it. With his bow, Ku Ching San used the skill secure to hit the python in the head, and it killed it in an instant. He gained 5 soul power from it. The Phyton's body is filled with treasure, and began to search. Suddenly there's poison in the air, and it came from another Phyton. He uses skill consecutive shooting to shoot the Phyton, but the python saw through all the attacks. The Phyton went toward Ku Ching San and is able to bite him. The bite contained poison. It affects him in an instant. He needs a powerful skill, and asks System to comprehend the skill 2 swallows fly together. He spent 6 points for it. Using the skill 2 swallows fly together, he shot 2 arrows. But he missed. But the arrow came back at the python's direction like a humming missile, and it decapitated it, but using spirit power quickened the spread of the poison. He took a gallbladder from the snake and ate it to remove the poison. Python's gallbladder is an antidote. He thinks that it'd be really good if he can combine the skills secure, consecutive shooting, and 2 swallows fly together into one. Host notifies him that constructive thinking of Host has enabled the development of a new Bao skill called Chaotic Dance. Chaotic Dance is a skill where it consecutively shoot 5 arrows in a short time period, using an unpredictable trajectory to attack enemies. He seems happy that it really did create a new Bao skill, and it's a growth type too. He now discovers one of the uses of War God's system, which is changing ordinary skills to growth type skills and combine them. And then a pack of high-tier monsters run past through Ku Ching San. Seeing this, he knows this place is no longer safe, and he need to move to another location. He came back to inform the man that this camp is going to be a battlefield and invited the man to leave. But the man refuses because the camp still has the concealment magic. Ku Ching San explains that concealment magic is useless against high-tier monsters, and hiding is no longer a long-term solution. He refuses and tells Ku Ching San that he's not going to leave this place. He said once the monsters arrive it'll be too late. But the man still refuses and tells Ku Ching San if he wants to leave go ahead. Ku Ching San left the barack and decided to go to the west. He go to the west to avoid Ning Yuchan and Kong Soon Chi's place of death. While Ku Ching San is walking, the ground suddenly shakes and he jumped onto a rock. The ground suddenly started to collapse. Ku Ching San uses Chaotic Dance to attack the ground. Apparently there are monsters on the ground. Those monsters are Tunnel Demon. It has the ability to tunnel into the ground and can resist elemental skills. The Tunnel Demon was confused. How did Ku Ching San know? He laughed and tell them that the monster is covered in fresh dirt and he can discover it. He tell the monsters to get some dirt from where it came from. But Ku Ching San didn't expect to be that many responses. It's a whole squad of tunnel demons. Ku Ching San tricked them to go back and get some dirt. These monsters are dumb, and they agree to leave. A man with white hair appear and said thanks to Ku Ching San. Ku Ching San stays alert and asks him who is he. But when Ku Ching San realizes, he is shocked. He is the frontline general, Sacred Sect Supreme Elder, Grandmaster of Formations, Kong Soon Chi. Ku Ching San is shocked because he went the opposite direction from where they died. Kong Soon Chi made a 6 trigram concealment formation. He used it to hide an entire Taoist temple. They went into the temple, and a woman with armor and sword came out. She is Ning Yuchan, or General Ning. She asked Ku Ching San how did he manage to make the tunnel demons retreat. He responds that the tunnel demons are dumb, and he fooled them into leaving. She asked how did he know, and he said that he often deal with monsters cause his name is Ku Ching San, and he is from the frontline troops. She opens her cape. She is the Guerrilla General Holy Celestial Maiden Ning Yuchan. The old man thought Ku Ching San would be tempted by her, but he doesn't even take a single look at her. Ku Ching San is confused, because in the records, they did not meet each other, and the places of death were far away from each other. So this means history change. He thought that the demon army came with preparations, and there's no way these two could have evaded them. He realized that probably the person who changed history is actually himself by killing the Army Dispatch Command, which is the bird. The old man asked what is that red pendant. Ku Ching San replied that it's the Demon Army message tablet. He obtained it after killing an injured demon messenger. The old man said that the demon army suddenly stopped their pursuits. So that's probably the reason. She remembers that the bird was injured by her spirit beast. She asked how did he Ku Ching San kill the bird, because the bird's strength is not ordinary, and his cultivation is still low. Ku Ching San demonstrated on how he killed the bird using consecutive shooting. He said the demon army should be fast to react to this. We need to quickly return to human territory. But General Ning is actually injured and suddenly fell. But Ku Ching San quickly catch General Ning before she hits the ground. Ku Ching San asked the old man what happened to her. He said that the demon army attacked them with different types of poison. Even though detox pill was used, some of the lingering poison haven't been cleared. Ku Ching San said he have a detox and pull out of the python's gallbladder. The old man said this would help. But she refuses and asks him to keep it to himself for emergencies. Ku Ching San tells her if she doesn't eat it, he'll throw it away. General Ning thinks humans are laughable. The people you trust betray you, yet the people you haven't met before are concerned with your life and death. Then she accepts the gallbladder and asks to give her 8 minutes to circulate her chi and cure her injury. The old man invited Ku Ching San to help him to set up defense formation on the periphery. The old man took something that looked like an artifact, and he drew a triangle, and a formation appeared in the sky. Ku Chingsen asked why him and General Ning didn't call for reinforcements despite being attacked and chased by the demon army. The old man said that he already sent messages charms to the human race, but there's no response. There's probably a traitor in the high ranks, and it's probably stolen by the demon army. The old man said that when they investigate, they accidentally discovered that there are spies from the demon race in the high ranks of the human race. Ku Chingsen thought that no wonder these two legendary people didn't receive any help from the human race to their death. This current situation right now is really dangerous. They can just hope the demon army won't come so quickly. That's it for today's video. If you guys enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe so you get notifications when we upload a new content. Thanks for watching, and see you guys on the next video. Cheers!